What's up, everybody? Welcome back, man. It's your boy D-Friend. We back in the building for another episode of the D-Friend Show. Episode number 54, to be exact. We got a lot of things to get into, a lot of things to what's on my shirt? Discuss as well. So we live. I wanted to go live today just because I wanted to, go live. Maybe some people hop on. Maybe they got something to say. They got conversation. So if you have any thoughts, opinions while you're watching live, make sure you chat in. Make sure you let me know. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be heard as well. So we got a couple things to discuss. We got Dave Chappelle. We have Dr. Dre and his wife. I think it's so evil, right? Now, and it has to be the wife that did this to Dr. Dre, but we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about, we're also going to talk about the epidemic of these suburban kids turning towards the bad life. And we're going to talk about Floyd Mayweather's daughter, Yaya, and her potentially facing 20 years in prison for stabbing another baby mama from NBA Youngboy and how that'll probably ultimately affect her life. But before we get into that, if you're not subscribing, subscribe to the channel right now. Make sure you turn on post notifications. Make sure you also follow me on the social medias that you see to the side there. Also go to SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. You can follow the audio version of the podcast there as well. So first thing I want to get to is Dave Chappelle, because that's like the biggest thing that I've seen going on lately in the world. So we all know Dave Chappelle drops a closer. Boom, drops it. He has some trans jokes, has some this joke, that joke, whatever, right? So trans community in outrage. You know what? Let me scale that back. Is the trans community in outrage or the select few? I really want to get a transgender person on the show because I have questions, right? I think the best way to move forward, get some form of understanding is through dialogue, not through these just protests. I'm mad here, I'm mad here. I feel like a lot of dialogue needs to be had so people can really come to understanding about people, their group, what they like, what they don't like. I feel like that's the step forward that should be had within these situations. That's the thing I think should happen, right? Not boycott Netflix, take them down, just banishing someone. I don't think that is what you should do to enact change, right? I don't think so. You may feel differently, but that's not what I think. So they went out there, they had their rally, they walked out of employment, and Netflix graciously said, we rocking with it. We are supportive to our trans employees and the allies of trans employees. So they let them do it. Obviously, if they didn't, it'd have been a media firestorm, right? We've seen the headlines that came out right after the Chappelle special. Trans employee fired because they barged in a director's meeting. And then another trans employee was fired because they say, I don't want to misgender. They leaked something, about how much money sticks and stones make. So that was the thing that's going on with the trans community in Dave Chappelle. So they did the walkout. I want to play a clip of the walkout. So there's like counter protesters there as well. There's people like, hey, Dave Chappelle's funny. It's a joke. So let's just look at the scene of the walkouts from, I believe it was Tuesday.
We like jokes. We like jokes.
What do we
like?
like?
We like jokes. We like jokes. It is funny. It is funny. It is funny. We like jokes. We like jokes. Jokes are funny. Jokes are funny. Woo! Dave's a very funny guy. I like his jokes. I like Dave. I like him. I like his jokes. I'm in charge
I like
of the
Dave.
protest now. I'm in charge. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
They done turned into a Black Lives Matter rally after the damn. See, this is about the everybody here looks like idiots to me. I'm not trying to minimize anybody, but I hate getting worked up over like dumb shit, right? So Dave Chappelle does a special. He makes jokes. I get the turf thing, right? Because I did some research into it. Like, if I wanted to speak about the turf thing and why trans people are mad, the turf thing, I can see why you could be mad at that. I understand being mad at something like that because it means trans exclusionary radical feminists, right? I guess there's feminists that don't want trans people to be in women's spaces because they don't believe they're women. And this, I get that, right? Because if I was trans, I could see how I would be offended by something like that. And in the world, it'd be kind of hypocritical as a person of color myself to kind of deter somebody else from having a certain feeling about certain words about how they feel. Because then I feel like I'm like one of those white guys that's like, black life, like, what do you mean? What's going on, black people? Like, it's always hard. It's that fine line when critiquing another group when you are, and I'm not trying to say I'm the part of the black community. We're whatever. I'm not trying to say that, but it's always a fine line from critique and just what's the word I'm looking for? Just like shunning, like shut up, get to the side. That's not really happening to you. So it's like a fine line that I feel like you go with these topics, right? So besides that, do you really think, like trans people, do you really think it's necessary to go boycott Netflix over this? Is this like it's always like, if this is the biggest thing to protest, if this is the biggest thing, the biggest issue to discuss, is there really an issue? Right, well, black people was protesting, like a dude got killed, murdered for 8 minutes, and we watched that, right? And that's not to say that trans people don't get murdered. I did the research. It's right here. In 2021 so far, reportedly, 41 trans people have been murdered. And of those 41, a majority of those people are black trans people. And I was reading the list. I was reading it. Shot to death here. Shot to death in Chicago. Shot here. That shit, to me, is horrific. Anybody being killed because, and to be honest, it didn't say that they were killed because they were trans. It was just highlighting trans people that were murdered. I don't know if they got murdered because of it or not, but it's highlighted there. The way it's framed, it looked like it's because they were trans, right? That's how it was set up on the page. But anyways, is the Dave Chappelle thing really that big of a deal? Because Dave Chappelle don't give a fuck, right? He dropped the special. I read a report earlier, says he's in London. He's chilling. He don't give a fuck. He's off in London doing whatever he feels the need to do. So the Netflix CEO, he's not backtracking from him, because when he came out, everybody was supportive of him. Everybody was cheering him on because he didn't back down, right? Because initially they wanted them to pull down the special altogether. Like, hey, take Chappelle off the air. We don't want to see the shit at all. It's inciting violence. It's doing this. It's doing that. Like, statistically, is it really inciting violence? Are people going to watch Chappelle special becoming more hateful of trans people? I think the thing that would make people more annoyed by the trans community is the fact that people feel like you can't take certain jokes, right? The turf thing, let's take that off the table, right? I get that, right? But everything else that's in the special that you might not like, those are jokes. Those are funny. The bathroom shit, where he said they backing up to the door, like, oh, you must be a veteran. Shit like that, that shit is funny. But if we go harp on the turf thing, I feel like it's better to educate people on what that is, because most people don't know. And they're not going to educate themselves because, to be quite honest, they don't care about trans issues, trans things to begin with. They're not going out their way to investigate what that means or why that'd be hurtful to you. So I feel like it's up to you to let people know why that you don't like that. That's how I feel. So this is what the CEO had to say. The CEO says, I screwed up the internal communication, and I don't mean just mechanically. I feel I should have made sure to recognize that a group of our employees was hurting very badly from the decision made. Sarandos told Deadline on Tuesday. So I think that's because he put out an email. It's like, I mean, hey, shit ain't getting dropped. I don't really care what y'all talking about. I don't really care what y'all got to say. Dave Chappelle's on the air, and we're going to keep this money train rolling, right? We're just going to keep it rolling. Because y'all's group of people, yeah, really, this is how I feel, honestly. Y'all's group of people not affecting that bottom line, that bottom dollar. So we're not going to take out one of our biggest players, our biggest factors in this comedy game, to appease you people down there. Now, let me preface like this. If there was a white comedian that got on stage and said something about, like, let's just say they made a very derogatory joke about, let's say, what's some significance happened in the past year, George Floyd. They say something about George Floyd, and there was a big outrage in the black community. I would not be surprised if they did take that down. But, you know, Dave is Dave, and he's making the bread and he's making the money. So Netflix obviously isn't going to take out Dave Chappelle, because I'm sure going forward they want to do more work with Dave Chappelle. And Dave Chappelle's already said he's not doing no more LGBTQ jokes because he wants to feel like we having a good time together. Not that I'm just talking shit to this community. What else I had to say? Like, I've read all this stuff, right? I've been doing a lot of research when it comes to the transgender community and what they got to go through, because I don't want to just be sitting here like, y'all ain't going through shit. What the fuck are y'all complaining about? You people just doing this, doing that, whatever, right? So a lot of trans people end up becoming, and I don't know if this is overwhelming, but this is what I read, right? A lot of trans people end up becoming homeless or have to do certain things to make money as far as sex work, and that's why they're putting in line of violence in line of harm, because people won't employ trans people because they think, you know, they don't agree with your lifestyle. They think you're weird. They think you're deranged. They think something of an employer thinks something of you to why you are not employed at certain places, X, Y, and Z. So that is a big thing in the transgender community. I just wanted to express things that I saw that are going wrong in the transgender community, just for people who may not know what they really be going through. Now, is it a small percentage of the population? Yes, very small percentage of the population. Do I think that we should cancel certain things for a small percentage of the population? No, not jokes. Like, if we're going to outlaw shit for a small percentage, I agree with that. If we're going to create a law that says you cannot unfairly unemploy or whatever people because they come out as trans, and that should be a law for a small percentage of people, I think we should do that. I think that should be a law, right? When it comes to legislative shit, I believe anything for, it don't matter how many people it is. I don't care if it's 5,000 people that believe in what, if you can't fire them, you can't not employ them, if it's something reasonable, right? Not like, oh, you can't employ a pedophile. Like, they shouldn't be employed. Fuck them. Get them out of here. But that's just how I feel about that certain situation and that group of people. So also, of course, Joe Rogan, he had to come out, he had to make a statement as well in regards to Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle's situation. And people, obviously, Joe Rogan speaks, people don't like, they get on his ass, and he has to deal with the consequences of the things that he says. So this is what Joe had to say. Joe said he's not a homophobic or transphobic person. He makes fun of himself. There's a bit in that special about him getting molested and jerking off on a man's face or coming in a man's face. Look, it's fun. It's just making jokes. That doesn't mean hate. This is the problem with today. If you don't have an enemy, you make an enemy. And this is a real problem with people. We look for things. So with that statement, I can understand, because I just kind of explained how I felt about the entire dragging of this Dave Chappelle situation. It's like, we don't see a big mainstream enemy to transgender community at this moment that's being talked about, i.e. there's not a bill on the table that is being talked about. There may be a bill on the table, but there's not a big bill on the table against transgender people that we could talk about. So you're looking for something to talk about to the people. And just so happens that Dave Chappelle is that person that we can talk about, galvanize against, to just go do whatever we feel is necessary to go do. We want to go feel like we need to protest. Let's go do that. So, like I said, I really want to have a conversation with a person of the transgender community, and more specifically, a trans woman, because I'm not saying that trans men don't go through shit. I'm not trying to say that at all, because people misconstrue shit. You try to act like trans men don't go. No. But I'm sure trans women go through way more shit than trans men do, because at a certain, like, let's be honest, right? When it comes to women, we kind of allow women to. And when I say women, I mean biological female. Let me say that, because there's these words, you get fucked up, your head get fucked up, you mixed up, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? There's no ill intent. I got to keep saying, I hate that I got to do that shit. I hate that I have to sit here. Oh, I'm not trying to mean, I'm not trying to offend. It's like, it's just too many words. It's too much shit. I'm sorry. So anyways, whenever women, biological female, whatever you want to say, do things, society as a whole, we really don't care. But when men do things, that's when shit gets tricky for men. For example, when we see like lesbians, right? We see girl on girl, we see whatever. Most people don't really care. Now, if you're super religious, of course you don't care about shit like that. You don't want to see it. You're religious. You whatever, right? Trans men, we don't really see trans men in headlines of anything, right? We don't see trans men trying to play sports with biological males. We don't see these things. We don't see trans men trying to. Like, we never see the trans man become male athlete of the year. Like, we don't see these things. We only see it on the trans woman side. Now, that could be just another form of the, because men are, I ain't gonna get into it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we get it, right? So I do want to have a trans woman on the show one day just to discuss, like, okay, speak to me, talk to me about Dave Chappelle. What about Dave Chappelle did you not like? I want you to explain it to my audience, to people that watch this show. What do you not like about X, Y, and Z? What offends you about this? What offends you about that? Okay, tell me this. What can you joke about in regards to trans people? What is the one thing that you can joke about? What are the things that you believe that they cannot joke? I just really want to know those questions. I want to have those questions answered, because I think those are like valid questions. Also, like, I also want to know about your experience. What have you dealt with personally as a transgendered woman in your life that leads you to certain, the way that you try to live your life? Let me know. That's what I want to know. Maybe I'll figure it out one day. Maybe I'll find someone and we can sit down and we can talk about that. Because even with Joe Rogan, like with Joe Rogan saying that, does that sound like something crazy to anybody who's watching, anybody who's listening? Does that sound crazy to you? No, I don't think Dave Chappelle's homophobic. I don't think he's transphobic. I think that, he's just out here trying to create comedy. obviously the transgender community has been going back and forth with him, so he's going to continue to make jokes out of these situations and bring light to just conversations in regards to it. Yes. Do some of the jokes hit to everybody? Probably not. But my thing always is like intent. Are you intending to be malicious? Are you intending to be hateful? And if you're not intending to be hateful or malicious, then you can rock, bro. Just let it rock. That's how I feel. Because I think that was just perfect. I think that the defining an enemy where there is not an enemy is perfect, because I see it within the black community as well. Like, we see certain shit that happens and people like try to make everything racism. They try to make everything this, when sometimes, not saying there's not, but sometimes when you actually get down to the crux of why something happened, there's actually a very logical reasoning for why it happened. Now, for example, when we see the guy goes to a restaurant. I forgot who it was. I think it was like a famous NBA player. He went to a restaurant, right? And his kid or somebody's kid or somebody, like somebody's kid wasn't dressed how the dress code of the restaurant was, right? I think they just had kid shit on, maybe sweats or something. So they wouldn't allow this family in, but literally you can see there's a white family sitting down with a kid in very similar clothing to their child. You could probably look at that situation. There may be like a little bit of racism going on with that one, right? But when we see shit like to me, honestly, maybe I spoke about it and I definitely now feel differently than I did at the time. I don't know if I spoke on it in a negative light, but I know now I really do feel differently about that situation. When I saw, what was it, H&M, and they had the black boy in the coolest monkey in the jungle shirt, I don't really think H&M like intended to create these black monkeys, jungle monkeys. Like, I don't really think H&M was trying to do that, but social media latched on to it. They wanted to find something. There wasn't a lot of, major police brutality stories going on. There wasn't nothing really. So social media needed to find something to drive like a force behind them. We went cancel H&M. H&M sucks. H&M had to, they came out and said, well, the mother said this and they did that. I don't really like shit like that. Like, that's a waste of fucking time. Like, look, they ain't passing the Voting Rights Act, but we worried about dumb shit over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's real shit, real legislation going on. When I heard Dr. Umar get on the Breakfast Club, and Dr. Umar was like, there's been an anti-lynching bill on the table multiple times on the floor. Boom, 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 boom. We put the shit out there. Boom, boom, boom. Never been passed before. But the first anti-Asian hate, boom, it passes. Obviously we know why. There was a lot of shit going on. COVID. They was trying to, make it seem like Asian people had it. We've seen it everywhere, right? You see it on TV shows. You see it in real life. Every time it's a Chinese person, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to deal with them. Or, hey, I don't want to go there. Or, hey, where's this product made? And I get that. If the product's made in China and we see that it transpired originally in China, I can understand why they don't want shit from China. But I get why they did it. My point is, I wish people would focus more on legislation and little miscellaneous bullshit here and there that honestly doesn't really affect the grand scope of society, that really affects people in a negative way. I don't believe, now maybe you could pull out some statistics, I don't feel like there was an uptick in hate due to Dave Chappelle's special against transgender community. The thing I feel like was an uptick is an annoyance. We're like, damn, it's just jokes. Like, take the jokes, roll with it, and move on. And it shouldn't be a conversation past that. And that's just my opinion. I'm not trans. I'm sure obviously trans people probably feel differently. They probably look at me as a white man telling black people, hey, why are you worried about that? Keep it pushing. I can be within myself to see how people could see it that way. That's all I'm saying. So let me read this real quick from DJ Milk. So if you break down the word transphobic, phobic means the fear of. Trans means in between or switch. But today meaning of trans means switch of genders. If we put together the words, transphobic means fear of a gender switch. So I mean, I guess if you're breaking them down technically, that would be correct in my opinion, But I don't know, man. This should be touchy. Nobody really wants to touch this topic because I'm sure me making this video, and if there was somebody who watched it, they're probably like, "Oh, you're transphobic. Everything's transphobic." I was watching, what's his name, Hassan Piker. He did a video in reaction to Joe Rogan defending Dave Chappelle. He was like, well, these are just two old transphobic guys who don't care and they don't really got friends in the trans community and they're just this and I'm like, bro, we can't just be throwing these words and labeling people shit just because they don't agree or they might not have the amount of knowledge against. When I think of these words, right, when I think of the words like racist. I don't call everybody racist. I don't call white people who disagree with shit going on in the black community wholeheartedly racist. Now, I can see some shit you might do action-wise that may make you look a little bit racist, right? But I don't think everybody who has a critique about black people is racist, right? That's why in media you see a lot of times they won't use the white people to speak on black people. They use the black people to speak about black people because of fear of their white anchors being called racist. That's why you see more and more black people speaking about other black people rather than white people speaking about black people, right? I brought that up when I said whenever the Nicki Minaj shit came around and I didn't really see Chris Cuomo, I really didn't see Rachel Maddow, I really didn't see Chris whoever, I didn't really see these people speaking out against them. I only saw Joy Reid, I only saw Don Lemon, I only saw these people, ESPN. I didn't really see Greeny saying anything about Kyrie. Maybe he has. And like I said, I'm not saying that they haven't spoke, but even when we get put on social media, their words don't transcend like other people's do. All I see is Stephen A. say something about Kyrie. I see Magic Johnson. I see Kareem. I see last night Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith got into it about Kyrie. So they'll use black people to speak on black people to really shield them from any negativity they'll get for their white anchors. That's how I look at it, right? And then there's some white people who don't give a fuck. They're going to speak on it regardless because they're just speaking how they feel. So I don't know what I was getting to a point with that, but honestly, at this point, I don't remember what point I was trying to lay with that point, right? So salute to, and then look, like it's some good shit going on, right? Like, and this is like one anecdotal thing. Like, oh my God, look, trans people, y'all doing great. I'm not saying that, but let's celebrate this trans woman who just became like a 4-star general in the Biden administration for like health or something. She was like the health or something with health, right? She's a 4-star general. I mean, that's a step in the right direction, I feel like. And I also feel like if you are discriminatory against somebody because of their personal beliefs, unless it's like you working in like, let's be honest, if you're working at a religious place, they're probably not going to hire you. That's just their religion, right? That's how they rock. That's how their religious sector is set up. And we can't really demify the religious people because that's what the religious people be. I'm big on not demifying people because of what they believe in, right? Now, like I said, if this religious group was so powerful where they're creating laws against you, then we can fight back against that. But if there's a private school that believes that Christianity is super hard, or any religion, it doesn't got to be Christianity, anything super hard, and they don't want transgender teachers teaching there because they don't believe that that's godly, whatever they believe, right? They don't believe that that's the right way to go. Then I feel like, do what you want to do. Just go find another school. Now, if every school in America, public schools, were not allowing you to work there, then, we got a problem and we need to create legislation against that. And that's how I feel about, because then look, it's so hard to, because then I got to get into race. Then I got to be like, okay, what if they believe, black people are this, and what if they don't hire them there? But there's nothing in the Bible against black people, right? There's probably nothing against trade. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a fucking point that I don't really care what people do with their personal lives, right? Just like I don't care when there's a white guy and he don't want his daughter to date black guys. I mean, hey, that's his people. That's how he rock. When I see Dr. Umar say he don't want black people fucking with white people get married, that's him. I can't be mad. I'm a product of white and black intercommingling. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I could be offended by that, but I'm not. That's his personal preference for his life. Let people do personally what they want to do. But when we come to businesses, corporations, this and that, that's when shit gets a little bit tricky in that area, right? So, I'm just talking. This podcast right here is just me just filtering out shit that's just going through my mind. Ain't no script. I only got like a little bit of shit written down here, and I'm just rolling with it, and I'm just letting you guys know how I feel about the whole situation. Should transgender people be equal under the eyes of the law? Yes, but we will never, and I know we're trying to create this society. It's not just for trans people. It's gay, black, Asian, indigenous. Even white people are starting to think that they are oppressed now too. We're never going to live in a society where everyone's treated equally by day-to-day regular people that they encounter. We're never going to live in a society where everybody agrees with everything that you do. That's just, it don't matter where you go. You're not going to find that anywhere. You're probably finding more here in America of welcoming and letting people mingle and do shit they want to do here than probably anywhere else in the world. You go over there to other countries, they killing people for certain shit we're allowing to be done here in America. So, America got its faults. America got shit that's fucked up with it. But let's not get it twisted that if you here in America as certain, minority groups or whatever, you got it better here than wherever else you could even think of creating this utopian society outside of here. Let's just be honest. Like that's just a logical fact, right? Unless you could find me somewhere that's better. You know, maybe one of them countries like Switzerland or some shit like that. Everybody always brings up. Maybe them fucking places are great to go and live and frolic in the hills or whatever. But anyways, let me get to some real evil. Let me get to some real evil that we should be fucking outraged about. We should be marching and prancing down the goddamn streets about. And that's Dr. Dre's wife. So Dr. Dre's wife, we all know that she been trying to get the bag from Dr. Dre. They got divorced. She's trying to pick up the bag from him. We seen reports of, well, what do we see? She wanted like $3 million a month or $20 million. She wanted a large sum of money, right? So her and Dre were married from 1996. Now they're leading up to getting a divorce. So that is a long ass time, right? That's like 24 years of being married to a person. So, she feels like, you know, at this point, I've been down with you for this long. I'm entitled to some sort of compensation, right? So this is where the shit gets fishy to me. This is where the shit gets evil. This is where it gets to a certain level that I really can't even agree with. Now, if there's certain points I feel like, you know, maybe she do deserve some money, right? She been with you this long. She been living an upscale lifestyle for a long time. You know, you were married to her. You got married under the eyes of God. You loved her. Give her a little bit of change, right? I'm not objecting to that. Dr. Dre's got hundreds of millions of dollars. If he throw her $20 million to get, she'll be all right, right? She should be. And he got to pay for the houses. We seen the little alimony shit that they had set up for a couple months. He got to pay for the houses. He got to do this. He got to do that. Anyways, where is it? Clip number 5. Let me read this to you. Some claim to TMZ that Dre was served at his grandmother's gravesite, while those close to his ex-wife, 51-year-old Nicole Young, told the outlet that he was served in the parking lot. Dre was reportedly furious and refused to take the papers. They were instead left for him to pick up later, according to TMZ. So this woman allowed or instructed her team, serving team, whoever serves people, to pull up on Dr. Dre while he was at his grandmother's funeral or visiting his grandmother's gravesite. Like, I get the divorce shit gets sticky for people, right? Marriage don't work out for everybody. Everybody ain't meant to be married forever. Dr. Dre's probably done some things to this woman that, you know, she probably should have divorced him a long time ago. We don't know. But I think to serve somebody legal papers while they're possibly at one of their lowest moments is just an evil thing to do. Like, could you imagine? Like, you at your loved one's gravesite. Like, you're probably crying, or you're maybe not crying out loud, but internally you're crying, you're upset, you're sad. And then you walk up, are you Andre Young? You've been served by the California. Bitch, if Dr. J would have went ballistic and crazy and stomped out whoever gave him the papers, I wouldn't even be mad at it. Because in situations like that, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, even as a person who's serving papers, like, I know that's their job. They probably get paid by how many papers they serve per hour or whatever they do, right? I don't know how they get paid. Maybe they get paid by serving. But you got to think, like, if you were that person who's serving that paper, what are you thinking in your head? Like, okay, damn, he looked like he had a funeral. Fuck, he looked like, damn, I don't know if it's grandma or whatever, but he's at a funeral. What type of human being am I to serve him these legal documents at this point in time? I was like, that's just the lack of empathy. That's the lack of sympathy. That's this lack of humanity that we have within this society going on today. To serve papers, legal papers to a person while they're at a gravesite, while they're at a funeral home, while they're at wherever they're at, right? If you come into my crib and you're like, hey, Andre, Dr. Young, whatever, not Dr. Young, Dr. Dre, here, your wife, legal shit, here you go. I don't have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with doing it at somebody's gravesite. I feel like that's just like a very distasteful thing to do. As her, who I'm sure she knew he was going to be there, so she knew, hey, this is the perfect opportunity to serve these papers. Now, I get it. Dr. Dre may be sly. He may be slick. He might be running from the papers. He don't want the papers. But I don't know. I feel like as a human to human, especially someone who maybe I'm putting too much on Nicole. Maybe I'm putting too much on her. Maybe she didn't know what they was going to serve. Maybe the servers do what they got to do to serve. So they're scoping them out. But let's just say it's her and her legal team setting up the play. You've been with somebody since 1994, right? Y'all been together for the past almost 24 years. Like I said, 26, whatever. You probably knew his grandma. You shouldn't be serving that man while he going to view his grandmother. Even if he's just going to view her. He's not even at a funeral. He's just going to view and pay respect to his dead grandmother. As a human, you shouldn't do no shit like that. So That's what I think about that entire situation. Right, I just think it's nasty, distasteful, and I would be highly upset if someone did some shit like that to me while I'm visiting my grandma. But anyways, new music. There have reportedly been leaks, massive leak out of the TDE camp, out of the PG Lane camp. 6 Kendrick Lamar leaks have hit the internet, right? Little snippets, not full songs, but snip pics. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been watching a lot of media people talk recently. Obviously, Academics has his podcast. He's been doing shit with Adam 22. I always watch Joe Budden. He talk about certain shit. And I feel like when there's a lot of leaks like that, them leaks ain't leaks for any, like it actually got leaked. I feel like that's a promotional tool to gear you up. Like people don't really want to do the single shit. They don't want to do the full rollout. Maybe they look at it as corny. So they're going to act like shit got leaked to, get people riled up and get people ready for the album. So this is a theory, right, about Kendrick Lamar. So 6 new Kendrick Lamar snippets leak. Supposedly trusted sources saying the album drops on Friday, 9th anniversary of Good Kid, Mad City, which would be great. Kendrick's Spotify profile pictures also changed. Headlines day in Vegas Fest in 3 weeks. Super Bowl halftime show in February. So it looks like, according to sources that are trustworthy, Kendrick Lamar will be dropping very, very soon. And I have high expectations for this project. I feel like I already know how the reception of the public's going to be. Kendrick Lamar is loved. He is adored. People love him. So whatever Kendrick drops, I feel like there's really not going to be entirely too much criticism. People are just going to love it because it's Kendrick, right? Kendrick's been gone since 2016. They're going to love it. It's going to be the greatest album of the year. Then people are going to start shitting on Kanye. People are going to shit on Drake. People are going to shit on Cole. They're going to do the whole thing, right? I think if Kendrick is to drop, I feel like it is smart for him to drop sooner rather than later because, like I said, Kendrick is a huge artist. Shout out Hey Archer. Kendrick is a huge artist, but he will not be able to compete once November 19th rolls around, and that's just my honest opinion, right? Nothing to discredit Kendrick, but whenever Adele drops, Adele is going to run the next couple of weeks like we've seen Drake running shit for the past 7 weeks, right? Young Thug is like there's headlines. Drake and Young Thug fighting for number one album. It's like Young Thug shouldn't be fighting Drake for a number one album on the 7th week. Like, what's going on with Young Thug? But that's how it's going, right? So Kendrick should drop sooner rather than later because at this stage of Kendrick's career, although if he did get number 2 to Adele, it wouldn't be that big of a blow to his career. Like people really won't give a fuck as long as the music is good. I just think for him, it's not a good light to be number 2 when you're Kendrick Lamar, even if it is Adele. I don't think so. So I'm ready for new Kendrick music. I know there's new Wale music dropping this weekend. Wale is dropping on Friday, and I'm excited. I like Wale. I feel like he really doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He had label issues. He had image issues. Like I said, perception of music is everything. Perception of music is that thing that drives you. If people like you, if you're likable, you will be driven further. At one point, people didn't really fuck with Wale for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. But people wasn't really rocking with Wale, so it was a little bit detrimental and it hindered his career in a certain way. I'm sure he had label issues. I'm sure he had things going on he couldn't really, do about. But one thing I can say about Wale keeps a sneaky hit always. He's always got that's Wale's song. Like you hear it on the radio all the time. I don't know. There's a new song. It was not new, but there's a song he had 2020. That shit was playing back to back to back to back to back. He always keep a hit in the tuck. I get that to Wale. So, oh shit. Charles Edward Cheese. I don't know who the fuck you are. But salute to you. Salute to Charles Edward Cheese. Every time we go live, he drops off the bag. I don't know what you do for a living. Maybe one of these cryptocurrency motherfuckers. But salute to you, Charles Edward Cheese. But anyways, what'd you say, Hey Archer? Hey Archer says, do you agree with Ack? Thinking he's overrated. I'm assuming you're talking about Young Thug. So LOL, Thug versus Drake is funny. They're reaching at this point. Yeah, they're just like trying to create headlines because it's really just like Young Thug should not be fighting with Drake for a number one album in his first week, especially off the back of Young Thug's last album being so massive, right? Like, So Much Fun was such a accepted, well-liked album. You would think that, especially Young Thug's like image in hip hop, you would think that when Young Thug drops an album, it's gonna be something magical. Everybody's gonna love it. Everybody's gonna watch it. Everybody's gonna just be enamored by Young Thug. But it seems like he's kind of a, to be honest, like as far as like love and hype, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of like a tier 3 artist. As far as that, I feel like he's more like a, and it feels like, and I like Young Thug, I like his music. Oh no, I don't agree. Okay, let me finish Young Thug point, and I'll get to that point. So, he has a lot of, what am I saying? He has all this hype, and he has like this draw to him. But for him to be only selling 80K, it just doesn't make sense to me. But I feel like Young Thug is more like a great appetizer more than an entree. Now, we can argue Meek Mill did 95, right? So you would say, oh, well, if you say he did 80, Meek did 95, he's an appetizer too. I feel like Meek Mill is also in that point in his career where he has got that negative perception, right? He doesn't have that great perception, right? Everything y'all said Meek could have had to do 150, do whatever. Young Thug don't got that. Young Thug had that on his project. He had the Drake feature, right? He had all these things going for him, but he's only doing 80K. He does, and on this project, he doesn't have that thing that'll put him over the top, right? So for So Much Fun, what'd he have? Hot was huge. Most people, their albums don't really do well continuously. They have a couple of songs that are hits that'll keep the album moving, right? So he didn't have a Hot like he did on So Much Fun. And he also had some other records on So Much Fun that were great as well. I just don't remember the names. And then all the shit they dropped out the YSL project. People like, oh, the YSL project. Let's be honest. The other shit is the reason that people still talk about that project. What's that shit? Yeah, when they skiing or something. Yee. Yeah, I feel like they tried to make another Hot. So they went from hot to cold, whatever they was doing there. That's why I feel like that people talked about that even a little bit. But I don't feel like on this album he has that song that'll keep this project alive. I feel like, honestly, after 2 weeks on the charts, it's going to be dead. It's going to be like nobody's going to be buying it still. So that's how I feel. But I like the album. You seen, I liked the, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about on a mass scale. I feel like people ain't really fucking with the album. Now, those songs that I highlighted when I spoke about it, am I probably still going to be listening to those weeks from now? No. But off the first listen, I enjoyed those songs. So, Hey Archer says, no X says Kendrick doesn't have enough hits to have his clout. I don't agree with that. I think that's a stupid take. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kendrick Lamar is like one of those guys who's like, he's like the upper echelon of upper echelon people when it comes to rap music and things of that nature. Like I don't even know, I don't understand where he gets that take from, because Kendrick, like, how am I trying to say? Like, Kendrick Lamar is one of these artists who need a bunch of hit singles to do great. His albums collectively are just a great piece of music, and they assist him in being what he is today, right? Like, Good Kid, Mad City obviously has hit records on him. We're not gonna even try to discredit that. I'm just scrolling right now. I'm on Kendrick Lamar's discography. Like that, like Swimming Pools was huge. Backstreet Freestyle may not have been huge. It may not have been chart topping, but Backseat Freestyle is a staple for Kendrick Lamar. We got Poetic Justice. We got Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. You got you got Black of the Bear. You got, I mean, these songs, like, what's that shit called that he did where it was like pro-black album? Not saying ain't nothing wrong being pro-black, but that album, it ain't really something that I go back and jam to. To Pimp a Butterfly, right? That ain't really something that I just go back to. But even with that, all right. What else he got? He got Humble. Humble was number 1. Loyalty was great. Love was great. All the Stars was great. King's Dead is a feature. No, is he on that? King's Dead is great. Like, he doesn't have a million hits like Drake. He's not going to be, oh, I got a million top 40 records and I'm this and I beat the Beatles and whatever like that. But his albums that he creates are so great and so good as a collective that people will never discredit or take Kendrick Lamar out of whatever position that he's in, right? Because let's be honest, nobody else is even doing, like, who in rap is doing shit like Drake? Nobody. Like, that's an unworldly phenomenon type of person. And we also got to be honest that if Kendrick Lamar dropped more music, he would most likely 9 times out of 10 have more hits. Drake drops something at least every year. And if he's not dropping a full-length project, a full-length album, he's at least dropping He's getting featured on these new upcoming artists, like the shit he had with Black Boy JB, obviously Tuesday with McConaughey. Like, he's always hopping on songs, even the shit people don't like. I like the Smile shit. He's hopping on these tracks with these people, and it's doing big numbers for him. And it's also assisting them with their career. Like when you hear Young Thug say Kanye and Jay-Z, why they should put people on albums because they're billionaires. They don't really have nothing to lose. They can only help improve artists' careers. But Drake actually does that. It's a difference. Even when Drake, I never really was a big fan of Lil Baby. He hopped on Yes Indeed. What'd it do? Catapult them. When he dropped on a song with Gunna and Lil Baby, what'd that do? Catapult them even further. So when Drake hops on, it'll catapult you. So, what else y'all talking about in the chat before I gotta go? I got about 25 minutes. Salute to everybody. Like I said, my bad. Let me do a little plug quick. If you want to listen to the full podcast, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes, search up the D Friends Show. You can also go to Apple Podcasts. You can give it a rating, 5-star review, help with the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on my social medias as well. I do interact with people on social media as well. So, and he doesn't have the amount of songs, albums in X Point. I agree with you. Drake is a machine with the machine helping him push out everything. Okay, Big Bang Charles. Yes, salute. We always got to salute to Charles Edward Cheese for real. I switch accounts to drop that bonus. Like, salute to you. Hey, Archer. We do got to do something, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want you to think that I'm ducking your thing. I just be so goddamn big. Like Thursdays ain't my off day. You know, Wednesdays I be off, and the weekend I be off. So we do got to link up and do something. I think that'd be fun. You talk about shit on your channel that I do partake in as well. You see, you know, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me be very fully transparent here with this shit that I got on the wall. When I got this Yoda shit right here on the wall, I have never, let me preface this, never watched a full-length Star Wars movie, but I was in Hobby Lobby, and I ain't gonna lie, this shit was fire, so I had to post it. This other one I got right here, that shit was fire. I had to post it. But I do fuck with like Marvel and shit like that. So whatever you want to talk about on your page, I'd be happy to get on there and chop it up with you about whatever. Maybe we'll just talk about music. Whatever. It don't matter. We can talk about whatever. But we just got to set it up for the perfect time in the perfect place. So hopefully with Kendrick drop, hopefully it's great music. I'm sure it's going to be great music. It's the last TDE project for him, and he's going on to whatever he is going on to do within his career. So let's talk about Yaya real quick. Look, oh my God, look, hey, I can't lie to you. I've seen bits and pieces of Star Wars movie, but I've never okay, I need to watch the saga, whatever they call it. I'm not that person. Now this shit right here, I done seen every movie about 5 times. I fuck with the Harry Potter shit. I could watch it, but Star Wars, I ain't really got up on that. So, anyways, let's get to Yaya, right? That was fun. That's why I like going live. People be talking. But I'm not up here, and this is, if you're listening to the podcast on audio, I'm reading chat. So he said, look, we can't take your opinion serious no more. I know Flying Low's probably trolling. He's always here. Salute to him. I mean, I'm not up here acting like I'm like the Star Wars guy. Like I ain't, hey, this is a podcast about Star Wars. Let's get going. Like, did you see the lightsabers? Whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. But nah, this one right here. This is this is Trump and Kanye with the Kiss He Ghost, and Trump on that dragon energy. That's what that is. I just seen that picture on the internet. I thought that shit was hella funny. Anyways, let's see if they go back up there. It's gonna fall. If it fall, it fall. Fuck it. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Yaya. Let's get to Yaya Mayweather. We can get about it because I gotta go do whatever I gotta do. So, Yaya Mayweather is facing 20 years in prison for stabbing NBA YoungBoy's baby mama, and she's also NBA YoungBoy's baby mama. So she's facing 20 years for stabbing the baby's mother of another. Like, she's facing 20 years for stabbing her child's sibling's mother. Right? So the first time I heard this article was, oh yeah, that is dragon. But the funny part about it, he's on the dragon because I feel like, didn't he say something like he has dragon energy or some shit like that? But anyways, off the comments, salute to everybody in the comment section. Keep on commenting. I'll probably read them towards the end. But I'm gonna get this Yaya shit first. I got a good point to make about Yaya. She is the daughter of a damn near billionaire, got pregnant by street legend NBA YoungBoy, and then stabbed his other baby mama. How stupid could she be? First of all, she's pregnant or has a baby now by one of the biggest rappers of the youth, right? Now, I don't know how long YoungBoy's career is going to be because honestly, I don't know how long he can stay out of legal situations, right? But let's just say he did. You got some type of support there, right? But move NBA YoungBoy out the way. Get him the fuck out of here. Your daddy is Floyd Money Mayweather. He's a billionaire. I don't know what he is. He has a lot of money. He had 1 million cars. He got 1 million houses. He's got tons of money. You are set for life. Now, I don't know what this young lady did to her. Maybe she attacked her and she defended herself. Maybe that's a possibility, right? But I would hope not, right? When I'm in this media position, media mogul, y'all seeing DFM media everywhere. I got this, I got that, and my kids are, you know what I'm saying, I'm wealthy, so obviously they wealthy as well. I would be remiss if I wouldn't feel a certain type of way if I see my kid go down this route. Like, you had the world in your hands. You had the world in your hands. You could do whatever you want. You could start a business. You could do whatever you want. You got to do shit, honestly. If daddy rich, you really don't got to do shit. It's going to be passed down to you. Live the life of a young, rich kid. But no, what'd she do? She got sucked into a certain life of a hip-hop baby mama. She did ratchet shit on Instagram for attention, for clout. And she looked like she was under the cult of NBA YoungBoy, because I don't know what NBA YoungBoy gives these women that make these women go crazy for him, but he give them something, and he's rememberable in some way. I ain't trying to go down the line and say, oh, he got good, whatever, but he does something to these women that makes them go crazy. And let me just tell you a quick story. I have a girl that I went to school with and talked to, not talked to like we talked, but like spoke to her like in the halls, whatever. We was, I ain't gonna say it was cool, we were best friends, but like I knew her. She's one of his baby mamas. Now, I don't never see her on Instagram wild and doing nothing crazy, saying this, saying that, doing whatever. But it's just funny that, damn, a girl I know is also one of the 8 baby mothers of NBA YoungBoy. So it just had me thinking, like, what is what would make someone like Yaya Mayweather get sucked into this life? I think it's just that certain people, when they're in that privileged lifestyle, when they're in whatever, they feel like they have to prove to like hip hop culture that they are something. That's how I feel, honestly, right? I feel like that's the same reason that suburban kids go out and have good parents and they commit crimes or they do this or they do that. Like they have a life set up to them for where they can do well, but they would rather act a certain way because they feel like that's the only way to be accepted by black people within the culture, right? So, and I would say this, people that live that life, that are actually in that life, that actually live in the hood, that do these things, they would switch with you in a second, right? These things that we look at them for, oh, they real because they was doing this, or they may have robbed somebody, or they did whatever they done did in their life, they in some way feel like they had to do because of the environment they were in. They're not doing it to get the street cred, I would think. But I feel like a lot of these suburban kids go into that life to get the street cred because they feel like you're not really black if you don't do this. That's how I feel about that, because I've seen it too. Like I went to a nice school. I ain't gonna say it was like, we wasn't in like preparatory school, no shit like that. But it was a nice public school, nice area with some people that live in these nice big ass houses. Parents got bread. And then they just go and start doing shit that like it isn't within the culture of your outs in your home life. Like I met your mama. I met your daddy. That's not the culture they built around you to even act the way that you acted. But I feel like kids get pressured into what is really this or what they really got to do to be real, and then they get sucked into it. And some people get sucked into it, they can't get out of it. They get real life complications because of it. They go to prison. They get a record. They get whatever. They get killed. Whatever happens to them, happens to them. And I, personally, I can speak to this from experience because that was me. That was me. I came to a town in Houston. I don't want to get like too much. They can start backtracking my whole life, right? From another town a little bit outside of Houston that predominantly, when I was growing up, were predominantly like white people, right? So I moved to where I moved to in 6th grade, and it was like a complete culture shock to me. People was running around claiming these places around Houston. They were saying, I'm from Homestead, I'm from Acres Home, I'm from Studewood, I'm from Trinity Gardens, I'm from Third World. All these places I don't know shit about because I was far removed from that world, right? So when I got here, I ain't never heard of gangs. I ain't know what a blood was. I ain't know what a Crip was. I ain't know what a GD was. I ain't know what none of that shit was leading up to that age. So it's not because I was a 6th grader, because when I got here, all these other 6th graders knew about this shit. It was just a different environment. It's a different culture. So what did I do, right? Because I came from this white community. And at that point, I only like white women. Like, I was like, oh, I only like white girls. I can admit that. Like, I was like, oh, black girl, I don't want to date. And I moved here. I'm like, oh, black women, beautiful. But when you're in this area, you do what you got to do. So what I started doing, right? I started indulging. I started thinking, what do I do to seem like I'm like real, right? So I started doing dumb shit. I started stealing shit. I did. I'm not going to really say something that I did because I don't know the stat, I don't know all that. But, I did something else. And you know what I realized? I realized like it's better, bro, just to be yourself. Like, if I can't hang out with certain people in my neighborhood because they might not think I'm tough enough, they might not think I'm street enough, they might not think I'm whatever, them just ain't the people that I should be hanging out with. And I feel like a lot of people can't accept that. A lot of people can't be themselves because they're scared they'll be judged. Oh, you're nerdy, you're a loser, you're weird, you're this, you're that. But if you think about now, 2021, people who were considered weird, considered nerdy, like that's the thing to be now. You see all these people, oh, everybody loves anime now. Everybody, but back in high school, you didn't hear really people talking about anime except for the kids who used to run around school like doing shit like that. You didn't hear them talking about anime and this and that. But now everybody loves anime. Everybody been watching anime since they was a little kid, but nobody was exposing that in school because it wasn't looked at the cool thing to do. I think society, I think life would be a lot better if everybody just were comfortable with being who they are and not trying to be what they think or perceive, what they like. You almost gave the feds what they need. Yeah, man. Hey, I don't know. It ain't nothing like super. Like, it ain't nothing super crazy, right? Like, I ain't gonna kill nobody. Like, sell dope or do pushing weight. No shit like that, right? Maybe one day I'll talk about, But that's what I'm saying. At that point, I was literally willing at a young age. I think I was like 13, 14. I was willing to do anything that I thought would give me some sort of like some aid. What I thought people that was around me would look at me like, oh yeah, he's one of us. He's not like this mixed kid with a white mom. Oh no, he's down. I thought that's what they wanted from me. They probably didn't even want that from me, but I thought that's what they wanted from me. So that's the type of shit that I was doing when I was young. And that's how I look at Yaya. Like, why is she stabbing people? Why is she acting this way? Why is she doing it? I just feel like that's the culture that's around. I feel like when I see Floyd, I'm looking at like, he like, of course Floyd probably, he beat up on women. Like, he did some crazy shit. I ain't gonna act like Floyd the greatest guy ever. But like that lifestyle, you see like it's an upscale lifestyle, right? And it looked like she wasn't trying to do upscale shit. She was trying to like, cause she was trying to act like she was trying to act like somebody she wasn't. That's what I feel. That's what I feel like a lot of people do to look in and feel cool. They think like, this is what I got to do to be accepted by these people, when in fact, those people you're trying to be accepted by don't even really want you to act that way. So that's why I feel like Yaya went down that, that journey, that way, that path, that life. So there was a point I was going to make as well, but I forgot what it was. I ain't going to lie to you. Now I feel bully culture needs to come back and not this online bullying. Well, not see like bully. I don't even know like what is bully culture, right? Like bully people for what? Like there literally. Let me just go again, like to middle school days. Like people was literally want to act like they were dumb to look cool. Like act like you can't read. Act like you don't know math. Act like you don't know. The teacher asks you, hey, what's the capital of Texas? You know it's Austin. Damn, if I answer this question, people gonna think I'm smart. Like, it was people that was literally like that. I'm not saying I wasn't like that, but people probably still do that to this day in school. Because most times, honestly, like most times in society and culture, shit that we think is cool isn't even really like that cool. To be honest, like shit, like I was literally like, and I'm speaking to whoever's watching. I'm sure there's more people watching. I don't know how many viewers are on here right now, but I'm speaking really to Hey Archer and Flying Low right now because they're the ones commenting. Like, bro, I literally was like looking how to initiate into a game because I wanted to be like accepted. I thought that was the thing to do. Like when I was in high school, first year of high school, I played football. I hated it. I quit, and I was like, okay, I don't have that football circle to hang out with. That's who I used to hang out with, but now they're so busy with football. Like, okay, so I'm moving on to the gang culture. Like, who do I hang out with in the gang? Like, I was like finding, like, I don't know. This probably isn't real. Like, this ain't no real LA gang shit, right? But I remember high school, they used to pass around like a notebook. They had like all the laws and all the things you got to do to join the gang, all the code words and the numbers and all this shit, right? I'm looking for the book. I'm trying to join in. Like, that's how, as a child, like, I can reflect on my life. Like, I was wilding the fuck out. Because I can be honest with you, too. Like, when I was 15, like, I was 15, right? I had just made, like, all district football. Because when I went to new school, I started playing football again, right? Fell in love with it, enjoyed it, whatever, right? So I made, like, all district offensive lineman. And then I was stealing shit from Macy's, right? Like, that's easy. I go in the locker room. You know how I do? I'll go to the polo section. I'll be like, and I got caught for this, so I'm not even like, they can't come back and get me. I already got caught. I would put on a couple of the t-shirts, and I would have a hoodie on, right? So I bring like 4 polo shirts back there, and I probably double up 2 of them, and I bring back 2 out, throw them back on the rack, and like, they didn't really fit me, and I just leave the store. In and out. So I kept doing that because you was getting away with it. Once you get away with shit, you start feeling like, oh, I'm the man. I'm fucking like super stealer. I'm like what? They can't. I'm way above these loss and prevention people. They don't even know what the fuck's going on. But one day I got a little bit too, I got a little too high on my britches. So I went to the movies with my homie. And just dumb kid shit. Like, I had like a little bitty stain. I had a polo shirt on. I had like a little bitty stain on it, right? Just something small. Like, fuck, we go to movies, there's girls, dumb shit, right? I wish I done stole from Macy's before. I could do it again. But this time I did it differently, right? I took the shirt or a sweater, and I went to the bathroom, put that sweater on, took my shirt off, threw that in the trash, and then I went, and as soon as I stepped around them little monitors, as soon as I stepped around those little metal detector thingies, because, you don't go through them, you go around them, What happened? Dude in front of me, I turned around, guy behind me, boom, you in handcuffs, 15. Embarrassing as fuck, first of all. And it made me realize, like, bro, the shit I'm doing, that's not me. Why am I doing it? And I can tell you to this day, I don't commit no crimes. Like, maybe speeding, dumb shit like that, right? But I won't even steal like a pack of gum out of the one. It ain't for me. I ain't trying to be in handcuffs anymore. I don't be no interaction with the law. I tell my friends all the time, if you watch episodes of your podcast, you probably hear this. I tell my friends, hey, y'all can say it's snitching or whatever. Hey, I'm letting you know, you ride with me? This is really when drug laws were a little bit different. This back in the day. I don't think it's too strict now. But anyways, you and me, don't bring no weed in the car. Because if we get pulled over and they say, whose is this? And you don't say nothing, I'm going to let them know it's yours. That ain't me. Because I'm letting you know before you even get in the car. Before I even pick you up. If they come and they ask who it is, you better fess up your damn self. And most of them, I got real friends around me. So most of them say, if somebody, I'm going to say it. Now, I believe that they would say it if they did. Don't put me in the position to have to be like, it's his. Because I'm not going to jail for you. I'm sorry. Now, if it's our weed together, that's a different story. But if it's not mine, I'm not going to jail for you. But I think that's all I got, man. I really appreciate everybody for watching, staying tuned, subscribing, liking. I hope that you're enjoying. I'm trying to, hold on, my shit get look. Anyways, look, now the wash on. Damn, my whole illusion getting fucked up. Anyways, appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes to listen to the audio version. If you don't listen, even if you watch YouTube, just go over there and subscribe for algorithmic, I don't know if I'm saying that right, purposes. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow my social medias as well. I'll see you guys next time, man. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have a great, prosperous day.